Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I'm bringing another new group to the channel, this time for Hanukkah, which is just being finished celebrated today as this comes out. So to anybody who is observing, Chag Sameach, and this is going to be the Maccabeats Latke Recipe, which... I never actually heard this. I've heard some of the Maccabeats songs. They're a fantastic American Orthodox Jewish a cappella group that was originally formed at Yeshiva University over 15 years ago now. I'm not sure how long they've been around exactly. But they're known for, particularly around times of Jewish holiday observance, doing sort of Weird Al Yankovic style parody songs, where they take an existing song, reword it, and make it about some form of Jewish tradition, or, you know, what the holiday is about, things like that. And I figured that, you know, this is a time, particularly this year, where there's a lot of very difficult things happening, and maybe a little levity might be a nice thing to inject. And a song called Latke Recipe stood out to me as being a point of interest. I have no idea what I'm expecting going into this. It's impossible to miss the beginning of the description, at least, which says that this is a parody of Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. So I think this is going to be highly entertaining. Before I jump into this, though, because I am doing this particular video, I do think it is necessary to have a moment of seriousness and just talk about what's going on in the world for a moment. It's just going to be very brief, but I do just want to state, as I'm doing this and as I'm, you know, covering something of Jewish tradition, I sincerely hope for some form of peaceful resolution to the absolutely terrible conflict that is happening at the moment between Israel and Palestine. I feel so dreadful for the innocents on both sides of the conflict. I think that I started looking into this a while ago just to try and understand better what is going on, and the one thing I came out of that experience understanding is how incredibly complicated the situation is over there, and I don't know nearly enough to say a lot about it, but I do condemn the horrendous acts of violence that have been taking place, and I stand for the innocents that are suffering, and I hope that a peaceful solution can be found. And I understand that is going to be extremely difficult, because there are, you know, extremely valid and invested thoughts on both sides, I believe, from what I've come to understand, and I'm certainly not in a position to comment on the political complexity that's going down over there right now. But it makes me so sad to see what is happening, and I hope that something can be resolved, that hostages can be returned, that a ceasefire can be implemented, and that the violence can stop, because it's terrible and abhorrent that people are treating people like that. And I just want to say that much, and I'm still learning more about what's happening over there, and you know, I think it's important when things like this are happening to try your best to understand, and this is very complex, and, you know, I am trying to understand, but I hope that more innocent lives can be spared, and that violence comes to an end very soon. With that said, yes, let's move on to this video. I will say welcome back to the channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. The way this is going to work, I'm going to watch this video through from beginning to end. I'm going to comment and emote over the top, and then I will go back and watch it through a second time. And that time I will pause, I will interrupt, and I will offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can based on what I've seen and heard, and using the foreknowledge of having watched the video once. Please do like this video if you enjoy it. Hit that subscribe button, and there's the notification bell down there that you can use to decide how often YouTube tells you that I am posting. Usually 5 PM EST on a Friday. This is a month which is a thing I do now and then, where I focus on a theme for a month and I release 2 videos per week. This is currently Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. EST. Also, this is the point where I would normally mention methods of supporting my channel, but for this video I would request that if that's something you would like to do, please donate to a charitable organisation that is helping the displaced and suffering, and working to assist the people who are having such a difficult time right now in both Israel and Palestine. They I think would be, they need anything more than I do, and so please do consider making a donation to them if that's something you would like to do. Okay, without any further delay, let us check out the Maccabeats performing Latke Recipe.
Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need, a frying pan, some oil, and a Latke recipe.
Oh, this is great straight away.
Our ancestry, we've got the Latke recipe.
Oh, I love this. The video's so cool too.
Some potatoes peeling great, shredding onion tears streaming down your face. Then salt and pepper to your taste. Add a tablespoon of flour, a pinch of baking powder. Then add 2 eggs and mix it all together. And while we stir, we say, tonight is Hanukkah. Got everything
This is fabulous.
we need. A frying pan, some oil for your Latke recipe. Let's celebrate our victory. We've got the Latke recipe. Pour enough oil.
I love that they're actually, well, within reason of what the video allows, actually cooking.
Gonna take a spoon and fill it and pass it on a skillet. Few at a time, fry one side then the other until both are golden brown. Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need, a frying pan, some oil for your Latke recipe. Let's celebrate our ancestry. We've got the Latke recipe.
Oh, this is fabulous.
2,000 years of joyous celebration, a single jar that burned for 8 days, the food we eat as part of our tradition, it keeps that flame alive. Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need. Friends and
Oh, that's great.
family here to try our Latke recipe. Best served with applesauce, you see. We've got the Latke
What?
recipe.
How is there a Latke on the floor? Oh, that's fantastic. That's everything I wanted it to be. What an amazing cover. Yeah, that checks out with what I'd heard of the... I don't know... When was this released? We're looking at 8 years ago, so that's what, 2015? Yeah. I must have heard a couple of their songs prior to this, and yeah, this is more or less what I expected based on that experience, but I love this kind of thing. It's so much fun. I love the creativity of making, like, those lyrics are so slick as a match to the rhythm and the scansion of Shut Up and Dance. That was really, really well put together. The video's great. There's such an amazing appeal to... Like, it's always interesting. There's always something going on, and there's moments of seriousness, and there's plenty of comedy, and it's fantastic. They're also a fantastic vocal group. They sound really good together. They've got a really consistent sound, and I think they blend. There's a dozen of them. They blend their sound together so well. It forms a really good kind of whole frequency coverage They have people, at various different registers, things like that, and it gives you this really full sound, and I love that. Just see if there's any information down here. Video by Yuri Westrich, which I think is most of their videos. Lyrics by Spencer Garfield, additional lyrics by the Maccabeats, arranged by Julian Horowitz. Great job. Absolutely fantastic. Oh! Mixed by Ed Boyer. There we go. That makes complete sense. Edited by Jeff Eames. Great job on the editing for this was superb. And then mastered by Dave Sperandio. I've said this before on the channel, but kudos to anyone who does mastering. It's a very fine art, and this is really good. And also a color grading. Color grading by Stuart Jackson, which actually, given the amount of color we have in this video, that's a highly important part of the video editing process. That's fantastic. I'm just a sucker for this kind of thing, I think. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so, sorry, momentary pause there while I realized I had set my phone onto silent. Got to go back to the top and watch this again. Interesting fact about potato latkes. This was a thing I discovered, and I was kind of fascinated by it. They originally weren't potato; they were cheese, because of course they weren't potatoes in Europe originally. And then that was sort of, I think they've been around for hundreds of years as cheese latkes. And then when potatoes came to Europe, they started making them out of potato. And the sort of rationale behind the recipe that's sort of or the basis for the recipe that's evolved was that the fat that was used to cook them in was an animal product, and because of the laws around kosher food, the dairy had to be removed for a meat product to be usable, and so they found other ways of making them without the cheese, and so now we have potato latkes instead. But that's my understanding anyway. Those who may be very much better in the know than me, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's correct. But latkes are fantastic, of course, very very traditional food and thoroughly delicious. And I love the fact, I'm always amazed when you come across a song that is effectively a recipe, or at least is discussing food. Food's such a cornerstone of all cultures and as so many traditions as well, and it's just fun when you have something like this. I was amazed. I saw Love Story the musical back in the UK years ago, and there was a song in the middle of that called the Pasta Song, and they bring out a kitchen unit set piece that obviously has like a propane tank or something inside it, and they physically cooked pasta on stage during the song. Just stuff like that's just fun, right? But this is fantastic. I love this. I love that they're talking about something that is so traditional, something that you would share with your family, and giving a couple of small bits and pieces about Hanukkah in there as well. This is great. This is absolutely great. Let's go back to the top. Let's watch this again, and we'll see what I can pull out of it.
Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need.
Very typical to the opening of the song. I think they've done a great job with this. I love how they've structured the sort of arpeggiated beginning that we've got here. Tricky thing to do, actually. It's easy enough for the person who's doing the do 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 and just hitting the note at the beginning and sticking it. But those people who have to come in on you get the do 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 and just come in on a note in the middle of it. The precision that they've got going on here is fantastic.
Tonight is Hanukkah.
Makes complete sense, of course. Sorry, I do this a lot, but having the on beat cutting to the different compositions of the group here. Forgive me, I don't know any names of the group at this point, so I'm just going to reference people probably by the color of their their chef's coat or something like that. I also love that they're all in chef's uniforms, but they still have the traditional black tie. Because this is what they wear in loads of their videos, right? Is the white shirt, black tie. I love that they've done that, but with the chef's coats over the top. That's fantastic. But the cutting here. Oh, it's slightly. Yeah, so do on the upper note they cut there. So slightly more of a kind of pushed cut at that point, and then this next one. You've got it more on the first and third beats of the bar. But I like that they've always cut on beat. Like the editing in this is really smoothly done with the beat, which makes it feel very natural even while they're cutting all over the place. It's really, really, really well done. Also, this setting, I should add, is fantastic. I don't know whose kitchen this is. Presumably one of theirs, I guess, or one of their parents or whatever. But this framing of the arch behind them is great. I also love it's a nice color. These sorts of things matter when you're creating a video like this, where you have so many different colors of coat being featured. Having the right color background so that nobody blends in or clashes or what have you. Like this could easily go wrong, and it doesn't. They've picked very carefully. Anyway.
Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need.
Right, I just identified. Sorry, small things for myself.
Tonight is Hanukkah, got
so it's this gentleman in the background with the blue coat who is their beatboxer, I think. I just caught the pepper grinder. Is that... I can't remember if we get egg shaker sound in this. I was just looking at that and I was going, is he using the pepper grinder as an egg shaker? I don't think that sounds in this song, but okay, sure. Random prop, but I'll take it.
everything we need. A frying pan, some oil, and a Latke recipe. Let's celebrate our ancestry. We've got...
I also like that as we're cutting between people, they're not staying in the same place. Like, our gentleman with the pepper grinder is now over the left shoulder of the chef, where he was previously, where the beatboxer now is, who was previously over the right. Like, everything's shifting around, and it keeps this very visually interesting. We've got a very static shot. Not a lot is happening in this video in terms, like, is the camera locked off the whole time? Even I'll try and pay attention to that as we go. But they've managed to keep it exceptionally visually interesting by how they're cutting to all these different takes. Also, how many takes did this video need? Damn!
Recipe, let's celebrate our ancestry. We've got the Latke recipe.
And this is such a great shot. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it is. It's a flat dozen. This is... Oh, and everyone's wearing different coats now. How many... Oh. The number of setups that must have been done for this, it's in some ways a very simple video, but when you start to pay attention to what's happening, it's actually remarkably complicated. Like, it's not, but it is, if that makes any sense. This is so well put together.
Ancestry, we've got the Latke recipe.
Oh, that's so nice right there. The addition of... Oh, my notifications are on, aren't they? Of course they are. Sorry, folks. I do sometimes remember to turn these off, and then other times I don't. What was I saying? Oh, yes, this harmonic build-up. I absolutely love that. We start off when we come in here. Why are you not?
We've got the Latke recipe.
Is that's in full unison, I think?
We've got the Latke recipe.
Yeah, unison in octaves. But here we have this harmony. Two parts. Da 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 and da 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 da. So you've just got the two parts there. And this addition of this it's it's still the da sound, but they've made it sound different because they're consciously coming in on the vowel. They're not coming in on the hard d sound. And so you have a different texture. It's a really smart way of layering vocals up like this because you have two different types of entry, which makes the sound fuller than it would be otherwise. And this is... there's so much happening here. I really like... Can you hear in the background? We've got this... I'm not sure what the rhythm is, but there's like a little guitar sound going on there that's quite back in the mix, but it's still prominent enough to give us a little bit of something extra to add to the texture they've got building up here in the vocals.
Potatoes peeling great, shredding onion tears streaming down your face. Then salt and pepper.
This arrangement's really good. I love that we have this. We come in with the solo, and then when you get to the tears streaming down your face, these two join in, but then face is held on. And what's so interesting with this video is because they've got all these sharp cuts between the different arrangements of the singers, we don't see those two carrying on singing, but it still happens, and that happens fairly consistently throughout the video, if I recall correctly. And I enjoy that they've got that setup. It gives it a vocal interest that doesn't have to be represented on screen. And of course you don't need to do that, especially if something's being held on. We've seen the folks who are singing that, and then we let ourselves move on to other shots. But that sound can still continue. Also, if you're crying that much with onions, freeze them for 10 minutes before you start chopping them. You'll cry a lot less. I know there's a million different ways of stopping yourself crying with onions, but that one's been foolproof for me. Just stick them in a freezer for 10 minutes, and then chop them, and you'll have a much easier time of it. Oh, hang on. Oh, were they still singing Face? Oh, I can't quite tell. It's hard to say. But they've still got the open mouth. Have they cut to the others who are also singing Face? If that's what's happened there, that's even more clever. And if it's a happy accident, that's also awesome. But I did only just clock that happened, and it may be what's going on. Of course, because we're cutting through so many people, it's not like we're getting that definite focus each time somebody's singing something, especially if it's a held note. So it's a little harder to tell. Regardless, the way that they're editing this all together to ensure that we see everything that's being sung at the moment it is, but without necessarily focusing on it, is really well done.
And salt and pepper to your taste. Add a tablespoon of flour, a pinch of baking powder, then add 2 eggs and mix it all together.
I love, you can see the grins, and I kind of feel like that might just be them having fun filming. Like, this must have been a blast to put together, right? It's the simple entertainment of making something like this. This must be fun. This must be a lot of fun. And I love that you now have the 4 stirring empty bowls, while, of course, the main chef of the moment is actually stirring the food up.
Powder, then add 2 eggs and mix it all together. And while we stir, we say, tonight is Hanukkah. Got everything we need. A frying pan, some oil for your Latke Recipe.
Oh, I love those 4 cuts. The but 4 different sets of people. Very, very simple. Very, very effective. I also like that for the most part, we've now changed to do for the vocal quality that's going on underneath the soloist at this point, because it gives the chorus a slightly different feel to the verses and allows us to sort of separate it mentally speaking. And that's actually really, really nice. Something else I wanted to comment on.
Tonight is Hanukkah. Got everything we need. A frying pan, some oil.
I love how much dancing goes on from the main chefs in this. And I also love that now, for a moment, he's goofing around while the 2 on either side are actually preparing food. Simple things, but it brings so much interest to what we're seeing.
For your Latke Recipe, let's celebrate.
Oh, yeah, that's... Firstly, very subtle chords in the sense that the ba, they're short. It doesn't give us a lot of time to focus on what's being sung there, but you can hear the chords very briefly, and it's just a cool chord progression at that point. It's not sung quite long enough for me to figure out what any of them is, but
Some oil for your Latke Recipe.
there's a suspension in there, I think. Ba 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 ba. Well, not quite a suspension, but like there's a passing note at the top of one of those chords. Just a nice touch.
A frying pan, some oil for your Latke Recipe.
And oh, that was it. The little embellishment at the end of there. The Latke Recipe just goes back up again. Small touches, but really cool for drawing the ear in.
Celebrate our victory. We've got the Latke Recipe.
Oh, there's so much happening. They've put so many small details into this in the vocals that just really add to the feel of what's going on here. Firstly, I realize I haven't said this yet. Kudos to all of the soloists in this. I'm not sure how many. I don't know the vocalists well enough at this point to kind of gauge who it all is. Obviously, I think this gentleman and this gentleman are both doing quite a lot of solo work. Maybe more than that. I'm not sure. We'll see as we go. But their voices are fantastic. And I like that it's not just one. I think having two folks doing solo work is nice. But yeah, listen to this kind of sound that we get here.
The Latke Recipe. Pouring
And just that little echo at the end of it, so it kind of fades away a little bit. It's such it adds to the layering that's going on there very, very effectively, and it's making that sound fuller because there's more than one thing going on. They blend in beautifully. You could miss it if you weren't paying attention, but it's really, really nice touch that those sorts of things go in there because it gives us the sense that there are 12 people singing this. They're so tight as a group. You'd be forgiven for thinking there were fewer of them because their parts are keeping so cohesive. But moments like that really let you see that, no, there's a lot of folks in this.
enough oil to pour enough oil to cover the pan. Turn up the heat, but don't
What was that?
enough oil to cover the pan. Turn
Calories.
up the heat, but don't burn your
Calories. I mean, fair. That's funny. That's the sort of thing that gets added in, and it makes the parody quality of this so much better. Like, the lyrics are already so smooth, but you just added calories.
oil to cover the pan. Turn up the heat, but don't burn your hands. Now you are ready to complete the plan. Gonna take a spoon and fill it and pass it on a skillet. Few at a time. Fry one side,
Oh, and I love this where you start getting the sort of call and response effect between the two soloists as well. This is brilliant.
pass it on a skillet. Few at a time. Fry one side, then the other until both are golden brown.
And I think... Let me...
Few at a time. Fry one side, then the other.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we have that in along with the melody. Da 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 da. You have the harmony behind with that same motion forming the chords underneath. With da 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 da, they're not singing the words, which is great because it kind of gives an instrumental feel to this. That's, I think, one of the things that strikes me about arrangements like this, and these guys are great at it, is it sounds like there's instrumentation beneath because they're using vocal sounds and vocalizations more than they're using words for their harmony. And so it kind of gives you a band with a frontman feel rather than this sort of, group a cappella sound, which works really, really well for them. For what they're doing for songs like this, it's great stuff.
Fry one side, then the other until both are golden brown. Tonight is
Oh, that brown, whatever it is that's going. I can't riff for those of you who didn't know that from that demonstration. That's not a skill I've ever learned to do, but my goodness, I can appreciate it when you hear a good one.
the other until both are golden brown. Tonight is Latke. Got
Oh, little touches like that. Tonight is Hanukkah. It's just nice little adjustments to the melody, and that's just, they stand out, right? It's a point of, oh, this is cool. This is the Maccabeats version. This isn't the original. If you didn't know that from the lyrics.
Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need. A frying pan, some more for your Latke recipe. Let's celebrate our ancestry. We've got the Latke recipe.
Oh, and that introduction of the breakdown there, so good. The gentle pullback, you've got that ooh coming through from the bass at the end there, just kind of emerges from the mist at the back of the arrangement. Because the bass in this, their bass, I'm not sure who their bass is or if there's a couple of them, but the quality of the bass line in this has been great throughout. But I love that it gets its moment where it's just like,
we've got the Latke recipe.
yeah, it's kind of fairly typical. Latke recipe, but then it gets its little moment here to just be a little more prominent.
2,000 years of joyous celebration, a single jar that burned for 8 days.
This, I believe, and somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, that references there was a jar of oil found after the liberation of the temple in Jerusalem, right? I think. And they found a jar of oil that contained enough oil to burn for 24 hours, and it burned for 8 days. I think I have that correct. Again, not the greatest point in my knowledge, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. Somebody please let me know, but that's my understanding.
Celebration, a single jar that burned for 8 days.
Oh, also I love that we've had this hand percussion where we've had these claps throughout the song. Now we're getting the halftime clicks. And it's an adjustment. It keeps that sound going, the physical sound with your hands, but changes it up so that we're getting something different.
Celebration, a single jar that burned for 8 days, the food we eat.
And then we go back to the claps as we start building. Subtle things that just let the sound upgrade. Also, I'm realizing we're getting a little bit of zoom going on, or camera push happening. I love that we've now got this much, I just happened to stop on it, I wasn't planning to, but this much tighter shot where they're filling the frame a lot more. It just kind of gives you that, it's like an increasing sense of community as we go through the song, which is really nice.
Jar that burned for 8 days, the food we eat as part of our
I just realized too, that slow push,
years of joyous celebration, a single jar that
it's so smooth. You can see if you watch the column, the top of one of the columns to the either side, just there on that cut, you can see a very, very slight difference. It just jerks back a hair of a centimeter. But the push, they must have used some kind of I can't think what the technology is called, where you sort of have like a programmed movement on the camera. They must have used something like that, because the smoothness of these other cuts, it's imperceptible that we've cut based on the background. And that's really, really good camera work. And excellent editing as well.
celebration, a single jar that burned for 8 days, the food we eat as part of our tradition. It keeps that flame alive.
I love that too. With the food we eat, everybody comes together as part of our tradition. We cut back to the soloist for that. We keep the flame alive. He can hit this lovely high note, and then we bring everybody else back in again. Fantastic arrangement work.
Got everything we need, good friends and family here.
This is also, and what I'm saying, increasing community. Now all of a sudden we have all of the families piling through. Such great video work. Also, now, I'm going to make a guess at what's going on here, and somebody please tell me if I'm wrong, but if we watch the soloist at this point, you can see the movements look a little unnatural. it's not smooth, which means, unless I'm mistaken, and I could be, and please tell me if I am, but I think he's not been green screened into this. He is singing at like half speed or something, and they've sped the footage up. I think he is moving at the same, like he's in the same continuity as all the people moving behind him, and they've probably slowed the track down to half speed, and he's miming it at half, or lip syncing it at half speed. And that's why the motions look unnatural, because I think he's been sped up. If I'm wrong about that, please tell me no. It's possible that something else has happened. It's sort of the opposite of bullet time. It has a name, I can't think of it right now. If I do, I'll put a note here. But this is a really good performance.
Part of our tradition, it keeps that flame alive. Tonight is Hanukkah, got everything we need. Good friends and family here to try our Latke recipe. Best served with.
And I love that now, where he was doing the descant part earlier, now the other soloist has got these lovely, the recipe, this lovely descant going on over the top of his solo. Nice swapping between them. Is he wearing that person wearing an astronaut outfit on the left? That looks like a NASA uniform. That's hilarious.
Family here to try our Latke recipe. Best served with applesauce. You see, we've got the Latke recipe.
Nice work on that descant, sir.
You see, we've got the Latke.
And sorry, I keep saying cool thing. Someone eating the
Family
applesauce?
here to try our Latke recipe.
There's always someone, isn't there? There's a jar of sauce out on the container that you're cooking with. Someone is going to open it and take a spoonful, or whatever it is he dipped in there. This is great. They've got so much happening, and yet because they've got this excellent performance happening in the center, you kind of have to try to see the other stuff because your eye is still drawn to the performance. This is really, really well done.
Best served with applesauce. You see, we've got the Latke recipe.
Oh, and they've got the toy dreidel as well. This is so good. And then he just throws the lacquer onto the floor behind him. This is so much fun. That was it's daft. It's such a simple thing, and yet for some reason it's so funny. That's really cute. That's marvelous. I mean, what a great fun, really cute parody, but it still has just a little bit of seriousness about it, just a little bit of history and tradition around Hanukkah. That's excellent. I really, really enjoyed that. What a great parody. What a great song. And what a really well put together video too. That's very, very enjoyable. And different. It's that I haven't seen something like that on this channel yet, and I really like the way that they achieved it. That was very, very well done. This is their new. This must be their this year's song. Am Yisrael Chai, I think. I hope I've pronounced everything correctly. I do apologize if I haven't. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Thank you very much for joining me for this. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Maybe got something out of the video. I hope, I brought some new perspective to the song. If you haven't heard the song or the group before, I hope I brought them to you. Because the Maccabeats are fantastic. I recommend you look into more of their stuff. They're really, really good fun. Thank you again for watching this with me. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to decide how often YouTube tells you I'm posting. And as I said earlier, if you would like to donate to support the channel as a result of this video, I ask that maybe you look into a relief group or charity that's looking to support the refugees and the displaced and the suffering right now over in Israel and Palestine. I hope to see you again in my next video. There'll be more holiday stuff coming very shortly. This is coming out on a Friday, so there'll be another video next Tuesday. Thanks for watching this with me, especially if you're still here. I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, 10:27 p.m., whatever time it happens to be wherever you're watching this. Take care for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.